Have you ever heard of two ETFs that are starting to kind of skyrocket and get on people's minds, as in TSPY or TDAQ? These two ETFs are from tappalpha, and the cool thing is they have a different income strategy than a lot of other ETFs on the market. Most ETFs on the market are selling like out of the money cover calls, and these guys are selling zero DTE cover calls. That means 0 days to expiration. So they'll buy today, sell today, and then they'll be done for today. And so today we're going to be talking about these two ETFs from tappalpha, and we're going to be diving into what they are, how they work, what are the kind of the real numbers they're coming about, the tax efficiency, and if these could be right for your portfolio. This video is purely educational content and should not be considered personal finance advice. I'm not a licensed financial advisor, and I don't know your financial situation, risk tolerance, or even investment goals. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results, and always do your own research and consider consulting with a qualified financial professional before making any investment. All right, let's get on to the video. Hey guys, my name is Steve, and I run the Frugal Expat website where we try to help people to save more and invest better. And today we're talking about two popular ETFs from tappalpha, as in TSPY and TDAQ. And so we're going to be talking about these, and let's dive in. Let's get down to some of the basics of these ETFs. So TSPY was created in August of 2024. It basically sells zero DTE options on SPY. And then you have TDAQ, which came out about September of 2025. And this one sells zero DTE options on QQQ or the NASDAQ exchange. And so these two ETFs are a little bit different. First of all, they're selling zero DTE. If you guys don't know what that means, I'm going to explain it really quickly. So zero DTE is basically, so you have QQQ and you have SPY. Now they do options every single day. A lot of different companies do options like weekly or even monthly. And so what you're doing is you're selling a call, a cover call, basically in the morning, and you're closing it out later in the day. So you're expecting theta decay. So theta decay means basically the value will decay over time, and you're having 1 day to basically do this. So it's 0 days to expiration. And so they're hoping to get some pretty good yield out of this while having some good exposure to the underlying asset. Now, if we're looking at these versus maybe like a NEOs or even some Amplify ETFs, a lot of NEOs and Amplify ETFs, they do monthlies. So they'll sell out of the money cover calls like a month away. So if we're sitting in maybe March or April, they'll try to sell one like a month away in order to capture some good premium. And then if it hits some of their rules, maybe 50% or 80%, I don't know what the rules are, but what their rules are, particular rules are, they'll close it out and then start another one. Well, with TSPY and TDAQ, they do it every single day. And so it's constantly, and their fund managers are constantly doing it. The cool thing is they have grown to like 120 to 150 million in assets under management because these are very unique. They're doing a pretty good yield. They even have some tax efficiency with them. And so today we're going to be talking about them because, I think they're really great, and I hope you do too. Now let's talk about some numbers, some yield numbers. So TSPY is yielding around about 15%, while TDAQ is yielding around 17%. Now, those are some bigger numbers. Now, TSPY sells like options on the SPX, and they also sell options on SPY. So SPX is the S&P 500 index. And when they sell options on the index itself, they're creating some 1256 contracts, which makes it a little bit more tax efficient. TDAQ does the same thing. They will sell on the NDX or the NASDAQ 100 and also sell on QQQ itself. And so they're doing some of those flexible zero DTE for their portfolios. Now TSPY is the older one, and it tracks like a less volatile index as in the S&P 500. So it's going to have probably a less premium, and that's why it ranges anywhere between that 14 to 16%, but it's got about 15%. This has also got a higher expense ratio of 0.77%, meaning it costs $77 for every $10,000 invested. Now, it is the older one, and so this is the one that a lot of people talk about. It's got more information, it's got more data because it's older, it's been around a lot longer, and so a lot of people do talk about this one. If I had a choice And this could be one of my, I would say, top 3 S&P 500 ETFs, as in I like SPYI, I like GPIX, and even TSPY would be one that kind of brings them all together. And you could make a portfolio with those 3 alone and then add a little bit more NASDAQ 100 ones. Now, TDAQ is a great NASDAQ 100 ETF. I recently did a video on the top 7 NASDAQ 100 ETFs that I ranked. You can check a look at that up here, I think, or up here, one of those places. And TDAQ is a great one because it's got some pretty good high yield of about a 17.3%. And this is a great yield. I mean, the NASDAQ 100 is a little bit more volatile, and so you're getting higher premiums when you're selling options on this index. And according to their website and according to some articles I read, that tappalpha does sell on their index instead of all on QQQ, and so they are kind of doing those 1256 contracts. Now, if you guys don't know what 1256 contracts, it's the ability to sell on an index, and what it does is it allows the portfolio to have premium come back as a 60 to 40% split. So 60% would be long-term capital gains, 40% would be short-term capital gains. And a lot of fund providers also return capital to their investors to help kind of, because they can't really give out those long-term capital gains every single month. They do it twice a year or even once a year. And so when they return those capital, you're getting a lot of your capital back, meaning the cost basis will also come down as well. So tappalpha is doing that with TSPY and TDAQ as well. And so you're getting some return on capital. TDAQ is doing anywhere between 95 to 100% of ROC, and TSPY is doing a little bit less, maybe like 85 to 99% as well. And so you're getting a lot of return on capital, and then they're doing some 1256 contracts. So it is tax efficient. It's probably not as tax efficient as a NEOS fund, but it's a different strategy and a different way of looking at doing selling covered calls and options. Hey guys, if you liked this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And I have started to create a great community of investors around us, and it's called the Wealth Building Collective. Now, if you want to join, I'm going to leave a link in my description and a link in my pinned comments. And it's a great way where we can talk, we can combine, we can communicate, we can throw in ideas, throw in different ETFs. And I'm also going to do some deep dives. We do some video calls with a lot of people, and also offer some one-on-one coaching. So this is all in that community. So feel free to join the community, feel free to kind of communicate and talk. And if you have missed me on YouTube, that's okay. You can dive into the community and we can talk and chat. All right, let's get back to the video. Now, here is probably some of the risks that could happen. Now, if you have been following the market is not doing so well. That could be because of the Iran war, maybe software is down, and so TSPY and TDAQ have not been doing very well this year alone. Now, that you could look at it as QQQ is not doing that well. SPYI is not doing that well. QQQI is probably not doing that well. A lot of things are not doing well, and that's just part of it. So these are down year to date, and that could be a risk. I mean, you have some capped upside, and here is another risk as well. One of the biggest risks is, I mean, we say capped upside, but if there is like a raging bull market, or if you looked at maybe one market, it opens up hot and then closes out low, or even opens up like very down and then goes skyrocketing, you're going to see some capped upsides with this. And so that is one of the biggest risks, because we're doing daily selling of covered calls, and so possibly the NAV may not go up as high, and so that could be a big thing for you. Now, if it is a raging bull market, you will probably see it not doing as well. But if the market is just going up and down, like sometimes it does, these could be some great ETFs to have, because you never know what could happen. I've seen people on the internet that were selling some covered calls on QQQ, and every day they would open one up, sell one, just because the market's been just so volatile. And so they could be making out bank with their premiums, and that's why you see some high yields right now. And so that's just something to think about, that there could be some NAV erosion going on right now in 2026. But in the long term, I think these are some great assets, and they will go up in the long term. Now let's compare these two ETFs to some of the famous ones, like the NEOS ones, the Goldman Sachs ones, and even the JP Morgan ones. Now if we look at TSPY and TDAQ versus SPYI and QQQI, we're going to see that they look on the tax front quite similar. They're selling options on the indexes, and so they're getting that 1256 contracts, they're getting that tax efficiency. And with TSPY and TDAQ, you're going to have a higher yield than SPYI and QQQI. But the difference in the way they do structuring is a little bit different. So the NEOS funds are also buying calls on some of the underlying assets. So they're able to have some of those call spreads going on, and they're able to have some ability to, when the market does go up, they're able to capture some more upside with their call spread. Now, the tappalpha doesn't do that. So you're going to have a little bit difference right there. Now, if we compare these to the JP Morgan ones, as in JEPB and JEPQ, you're going to have a little bit difference. So JEPB and JEPQ are actively managed, and they're taking pieces of basically the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100 indexes, and they're selling ELNs, which is equity-linked notes. And so these are giving them some flexibility, but also those are taxed at an ordinary rate, unlike the tappalpha ones. So that's a little bit different. And the JP Morgan ones are a little bit more conservative, giving you anywhere between maybe like a 8 to 10% yield compared to the 15 to 17% yield you see with the TSPY and TDAQ. So those are a little bit different as well. And so if you're looking for a little bit more conservative, you're looking for ones that have also bigger assets and under management, as in JEPB and JEPQ are anywhere between $30 to $40 billion in assets under management, while the tappalpha ones have about 120 to 200 million in assets under management. That could be a factor in which one you choose. Personally, I like the tappalpha ones over the JP Morgan ones, but that's my opinion. Now, if you were to look at maybe one that's very similar, the Goldman Sachs, that's in the GPIX and GPIQ, are some great ETFs as well. Now, the GPIX and GPIQ do the 1256 contracts. That's very similar, but they don't sell their entire portfolio, or they kind of do anywhere between the 25 to 75%. So they're allowing some more upside with their portfolio. And you can see that in total return. GPIX and GPIQ have a higher total return than the TSPY and TDAQ. And so you're getting more upside, but you're also getting less yield. So GPIX is around 8 to 9% yield, while GPIQ is around that 10% yield. So you're getting less yield, but you get more upside and more total return. So that's kind of the trade-off. Do you want more yield? Go with the tappalpha. If you want more upside, go with the Goldman Sachs. That's kind of the major comparisons with the NEOS ones, the JP Morgan ones, and the Goldman Sachs ones. And so you have different strategies, you have different ways to look at them, and you just got to pick which ones you want to do, or you could also mix them all together. Now, who should own these ETFs? Now, a couple people may want to own these ETFs. First of all, those people that are maybe getting close to retirement, maybe they are retirees, they may want a little bit more yield instead of more growth. And since they do track a great index or two great indexes, these could be some great ones to buy and hold for the long term and put in your portfolio. Those that already have maybe some growth and more stability, but they want more yield. I mean, TDAQ has a 17% yield, and that's very appealing to a lot of retirees. And you also have some good tax efficiency. So these could be good ones. You can also put them in tax advantaged accounts, but I mean, a taxable account would be not bad for these ETFs. Then you have those people that may want to avoid these. Now, those people that may want to avoid these could be those that are in that accumulation phase. Maybe they have 20, 30, 40 years left before they hit retirement, or even if they want retirement then. And so they may be looking at maybe QQQ or QQQM. Maybe they're looking at VGT, SMH, VOO, VTI, and kind of accumulating those and don't need the income now. And so those people may want to avoid it. And those people that may want a different structure, may like the NEOS ETFs better than the 0TTE, may want those over the tappalpha. Now, if you want my opinion, I would say that, in the income space, the cover call option space, there are some great opportunities, and you don't have to just pick A, B, C, D, or even stay with one fund. Now, so you got Neo's ETFs, they're great. You got Amplify ETFs, they're very good too. You have the Goldman Sachs ones, I like those as well. And the tappalpha, what if you wanted to, you could just combine a lot. So if you wanted to have like an S&P 500 bucket, you could do an SPYI, GPIX, and a TSPY. You could also do a NASDAQ 100 bucket with like a QQQI, TDAQ, and a GPIQ. So you get kind of 2 buckets, and you have 3 different strategies in each bucket, and they have different focuses, and so you can have a piece of everything. That's a way you could do it. And that's a way that I kind of like thinking about it. I mean, with the S&P 500 ETFs, I mean, you got VOO, SPY, and IVV. They're basically the same thing. Not different strategies, just different expense ratios and different companies. But with the income ETFs, they do have different strategies. They're definitely actively managed, and they have different yields, different total performances, different expense ratios, and different ways to think about it. So if you're looking for some great ETFs to buy and hold, or to put in your retirement or income portfolio, these tappalpha ones are very interesting, very different, and could be part of your strategy. Let me know in the comments if you own TSPY or TDAQ, or if you like to combine them in different portfolio. Let me know in the comments if you have some ETFs that I may be missing that you would like to see a video of. I'm always looking for some great ideas, and these are some ones that I like to enjoy and kind of dive into. All right, guys, if you also wanted to check out some great ETFs, I have a video up here of some great Neo ETFs. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. You guys take care.